Hello there, fun scientists, and welcome to another episode of Forensic Frank Explains. Today, we are going to be looking at chemical reactions. Oh yes, and not just any old chemical reactions. These are chemical reactions that you can do at home. Does that sound cool? I think so. Now, for these chemical reactions, you are going to need quite a few items, but don't worry, I'm going to explain everything in good detail so you know what to do and how to do it. Now, the first thing you'll need is this. If you don't know what this is cabbage water. I know, right? Pretty gross. Oh, it stinks as well, how gross. So, the reason why we need cabbage water is because cabbage water is actually a very scientific kind of water. This can help us make lots and lots of different chemical reactions, which we will be performing today. But to make this kind of cabbage water, you are going to need help from a grown-up. What you will need is some red cabbage and some boiling water. What you need to do is chop up the red cabbage and put some of the leaves into some boiling water. If we leave it in the boiling water for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, then it should be ready to pour into a glass or a cup. Now, it might look a different colour to this, because right now it's kind of a purpley blue kind of colour, a bit darker. Now, when your cabbage water is ready after a few minutes in the boiling water, it might not look like this, and that's okay. If you want to start your experiment with your cabbage water looking a little bit different, you can do that. But the reason why my cabbage water looks this colour is because I kept it in the fridge for about 2 days, and that's what happens, it changes colour when you refrigerate it overnight. So you can do this too, or you can go straight away into the experiment with your cabbage water once it's fresh from the boiling water. So if you would like to prep the cabbage water and then come back to the video, you can do that now. Is your cabbage water ready? Excellent. So, because cabbage water is a very reactive acid, we have lots of other things to work with that you could find in the kitchen or in the supermarket. I've got bicarbonate of soda, baking powder, lemon juice, clear vinegar, and some raisins. It's also important to remember you'll need a tray and some teaspoons for this one, because this is going to get a bit messy, so it's best to have a tray on standby so you can catch any of the mess you make rather than let it spill all over the table or all over the floor. And the teaspoons will come in handy, but I'll explain that very soon. So all of these ingredients will be representing other acids and alkalis. Remember, in chemistry, the mixture of different acids and alkalis make all sorts of chemical reactions. And because the cabbage water is a very reactive acid, we might be able to make all sorts of chemical reactions. Who knows, it might change colour, it might make bubbles, all sorts could happen. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to get all of these ingredients and have a go. So, if you would like to pause the video and collect as many of these items as you can, and then once you've got everything, come back, press play, and we'll continue. Have you got all of the equipment? Excellent. Shall we get started? Let's begin. First of all, I'm going to add a different acid to the cabbage water to see what chemical reaction we can get. Now, usually when you mix an acid with an alkali, they make a strong chemical reaction. But I wonder what will happen when we add one acid to another acid. So first of all, we are going to be using the clear vinegar. Now, I've poured a little bit of this into a plastic cup just to make it easier for me to pour it all in. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you want to, it might make it a little bit easier for you. So, we're going to start with the clear vinegar to see what happens and what chemical reaction we can make. Ready, everyone? Here we go. Wow! It's changed colour! Look at that! It's changed colour to a more pinky red colour. It looks amazing! Pretty cool, huh? So that was our first chemical reaction. Mixing one acid with another caused it to change colour. Quite brilliant, wouldn't you say? I think so too. Now, for the next chemical reaction, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take a small handful of raisins and pour them into the beaker. Here we go. No chemical reaction, but that's okay because the chemical reaction should be coming next. As you can see, the raisins just rest at the bottom of the cup because hopefully this next chemical reaction might just do something to them. Next, we are going to pour 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda into the beaker. That's 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda. Remember, I put mine in a little plastic cup. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you want to, it might make it a little bit easier. So I have 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda in this plastic cup, and now I'm going to pour it into the beaker to see what chemical reaction we can make. Are you ready? Here we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa! How cool is that? Look at all those bubbles, it's overflowing, it's gone crazy. And the raisins are moving. It's a little bit difficult to see, but all of the raisins are moving around in the flask. Some of them have floated to the top. Some of them are still moving around. How cool is that? It's a good thing I had a tray because all of those bubbles overflowed into the tray. Really messy on that one, but it was so cool. Did you think that was cool? I thought it was cool. Okay, let's see what else we can do with our chemical reactions. I'm going to try some lemon juice next. I'm going to apply this to the cabbage water and see if it makes any more chemical reactions. Remember, not everything in this experiment will cause a chemical reaction, and that's okay, because sometimes science doesn't always go according to plan, and mistakes happen, but that's okay. But it is fun to try different ingredients, so I'm going to add the lemon juice now to see if we can make any more chemical reactions. If we can make another chemical reaction, excellent. If we can't, that's okay. We tried it, and that's the important thing. So I'm going to take the lid off the top now, and I'm going to pour a little bit of the lemon juice into the cabbage water to see if we can make another chemical reaction. Are you ready? Let's see what happens. Here we go. Ooh. How cool is that? It's made more bubbles and it's made it very fizzy and the raisins are moving around a lot more. It's almost like we've made our very own fizzy drink. Ugh, still smells funny though, so I wouldn't drink it if I were you. It would probably be gross and it would make your breath stink. It's also gotten a lot lighter than what it was originally. It's a lighter purple and we can actually see the raisins moving around inside. Here's a closer look. Can you see the raisins moving around at all? Pretty cool, I think. Now, we've had lots of bubbles from the bicarbonate of soda with this mixture. We've had it changing colour when we added the vinegar, baking powder. We've had raisins dancing around inside the beaker. That was pretty cool. And we made more bubbles when we added the lemon juice. So, last one to see. What do you reckon's going to happen? There's only one way to find out. Let's go ahead and put some of the baking powder into the beaker. Ready? Here we go. Whoa. Again, lots of bubbles, a strong chemical reaction, and it's slowly rising out of the beaker. A bit slower than the bicarbonate of soda, but pretty fascinating. And once again, the colour of the mixture looks a lot lighter. It's a lighter purple than what it was at the beginning of the experiment. And all of those bubbles are resting on top of the beaker just like that. That was pretty fantastic. So there you have it, fun scientists, our very own chemical reactions through cabbage water. How did yours turn out? Did you make any similar chemical reactions? And did you have fun whilst you were doing it? I hope so. Now, let's explain the science behind this experiment. Now, I might have mentioned as we were doing this experiment that in chemistry you mix acids and alkalis, and sometimes acids with acids, to make all sorts of different chemical reactions. Cabbage water was a very reactive acid, so we gave it vinegar, lemon juice, and those kind of acids made it change colour, and at one point it made bubbles as well. But when we mix an alkali with an acid, that produces a gas known as carbon dioxide, which just wants to escape into the air. And of course, by doing so, it makes lots and lots of bubbles. As you can see, we still got some bubbles in the beaker, and it looks pretty cool as we were doing it. So well done, fun scientists. I hope you learned something new today and had fun at the same time. I know I did. Remember, if your chemical reaction doesn't quite go according to plan, that's okay, because you can always try again. But if it worked, then well done you. Well, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for watching, everyone, and tune in next time for another episode of Forensic Frank Explains. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.